There is a fear that lives deep in the heart of every man, a cold, primal dread that is more terrifying than any physical threat. It is the fear of being seen as weak, as contemptible, in the eyes of the woman he desires. You have been taught that her love is a gentle, unconditional thing, a soft harbor in the storm of the world. This is a beautiful, comforting, and potentially fatal lie. The truth, initiate, is that a woman's desire is inextricably, biologically, and brutally linked to her respect for your masculine core. And her respect is not a given. It is a territory that must be perpetually defended. When she senses weakness, when she feels your frame begin to buckle, her desire does not just fade. It transmutes into a quiet, corrosive, and often secret contempt. Today we pull back the veil. We will give you the forbidden gnosis to see what she will never say. We will arm you with the 5 primary signs, the 5 unspoken tests that reveal she is not just in a bad mood or being difficult. She is subconsciously diagnosing your weakness and finding you wanting. This is not a transmission for the faint of heart. This is a diagnostic tool, a mirror that may show you a reflection you do not wish to see. But to remain blind to these signs is to be the last person to know that your kingdom is already burning.
To understand these signs, you must first understand their source. Her tests are not conscious acts of malice. They are the ancient, evolved software of her hypergamous drive, relentlessly scanning you for a single critical quality: frame strength. Imagine her psyche as a fortress, constantly under siege by the chaos of the world. Her deepest, most primal need is for a king whose own fortress is stronger than hers, a man whose reality is so solid, so unshakable, that she can safely shelter within it. Her tests, her complaints, her drama, her challenges are not attacks on your fortress. They are her engineers, sent out to test the integrity of your walls. They are asking a single question: when the real siege comes, will you stand or will you crumble? Do you see? When you fail her tests, she does not just feel disappointed. She feels a primal biological terror. She has allied herself with a weak fortress, and her subconscious mind, in an act of ruthless self-preservation, will begin to emotionally and sexually divest from you. It will begin to despise your weakness, because your weakness is a direct threat to her survival. The first sign is the most subtle. It is a shift in the nature of her complaints. They cease to be a request for a solution and become a test of your emotional resilience. Sign 1. The complaint becomes a storm test. The Gnostic deconstruction. In a healthy dynamic, when she complains about her day, she is often seeking empathy and connection. But when her respect begins to wane, the complaint changes. It becomes a storm test. She will unload her stress, her drama, her chaos directly onto you, not for a solution, but to observe your reaction. She is unconsciously testing your capacity to be her emotional flatland. The beta male fails catastrophically. He absorbs her stress. He becomes anxious himself. He desperately tries to fix her problem, to make her feel better. He enters the storm with her. She may thank him for his help, but her nervous system has just registered a fatal piece of data. He cannot hold my chaos. His frame is as weak as mine. He is not a safe harbor, and the secret contempt begins to grow. The second sign is an escalation of her aggression. The playful jabs become sharper. The teasing takes on a harder, more personal edge. This is not a flirtation. This is a probe, searching for a fracture in your armor. Sign 2. Her aggression becomes a fracture scan. The Gnostic deconstruction. Female aggression is rarely direct. It is a serpentine dance of indirect insults, backhanded compliments, and public corrections. When her respect is high, this is a playful spar. When her respect is dying, it becomes a fracture scan. She will challenge your opinion in front of friends. She will mock a decision you made. She will bring up a past failure in a joking way. The beta male reacts with defensiveness. He argues, he explains, he justifies his case, he pleads his case. Her subconscious registers this as a catastrophic failure. He is so insecure that a single comment can shatter his composure. His armor is made of glass. She wanted to find steel. She found a fragile ego. The contempt deepens. The third sign is a shift in her language. She begins unconsciously to speak to you not as a lover, but as a project to be managed, as a son to be corrected. Sign 3. Her language becomes a parental frame. The Gnostic deconstruction. Listen closely to her verb choices. When she begins to use the language of a disappointed mother or a frustrated manager, you are in grave danger. You always forget to, "Why can't you just? I need you to handle this." This is not the language of a woman speaking to her king. This is the language of a woman speaking to an incompetent subordinate. She has taken on the masculine role of leadership in the relationship because you have abdicated it. The fourth sign is the most brutal. It is the death of her sexual gaze. Her eyes no longer see you as an object of desire. They see you as a piece of furniture. Sign 4. Her gaze becomes an erotic erasure. The Gnostic deconstruction. In the beginning, she looked at you with a spark of mystery, of hunger, of possibility. Now her gaze is one of utility. She looks at you to see if you have taken out the trash. She looks at you to ask what you want for dinner. But she no longer truly sees you. The sexual charge is gone. You have become so predictable, so safe, so utterly non-threatening that her erotic imagination can find no purchase on you. This is erotic erasure. You are physically present, but sexually, you have become a ghost. The beta male, sensing this, desperately tries to reignite the spark with nice gestures, flowers, compliments, but he is trying to light a fire with water. Her subconscious knows, this man is a brother, a roommate, a friend, but he is not a lover. The fire is dead. The contempt is now mixed with a quiet, tragic pity. The fifth and final sign, the one that signals the point of no return. She begins openly and without fear of consequence to offer her admiration to other men in your presence. Sign 5. Her admiration becomes a sovereign's funeral. The Gnostic deconstruction. She will talk about her boss's decisiveness. She will praise a celebrity's confidence. She will laugh a little too long at another man's joke at a party. This is not a simple observation. This is a eulogy. She is delivering the funeral speech for the man she once hoped you would be. She is unconsciously announcing that she is now outsourcing her need for masculine energy because the local supply has dried up. The beta male's response is a pathetic cocktail of jealousy and insecurity. He might sulk. He might become angry. He might criticize the other man. Her subconscious delivers the final cold verdict. He is so weak that he not only fails to embody the masculine virtues, but he is also threatened by the men who do. My king is dead. Long live the next king.
The contempt is now total. She is no longer testing you. She is simply waiting for a viable opportunity to leave. The storm test, the fracture scan, the parental frame, the erotic erasure, the sovereign's funeral. These are not her flaws. They are your report card. They are the brutal, honest, and ultimately merciful feedback from her primal self, telling you that you have failed in your most sacred duty as a man, to be the unshakable pillar, the sovereign frame, the safe harbor for her feminine soul. To ignore these signs is to willingly preside over the slow, agonizing decay of her desire until all that remains is the ash of a polite, sexless arrangement. If this deconstruction has been a terrifying, illuminating mirror, if you have seen your own reflection in these 5 signs of a dying attraction, command the like button. Acknowledge this brutal but necessary gnosis. Which of these 5 signs have you been most blind to in your own life? Have you been mistaking her storm tests for simple bad moods? Have you been defensively reacting to her fracture scans? Confess your blindness in the comments below. We drag these truths into the light to incinerate them. The path to reclaiming her respect, and therefore her desire, is not through more niceness. It is a radical, often terrifying reforging of your own masculine core. It is the great work of the Seduction Noire Cathedral. Subscribe and strike the obsidian bell of unveiling. Commit yourself to the path of becoming the man whose frame is not tested by her storms, but is the very force that calms them. She does not despise you. She despises the weakness that you have allowed to sit upon your throne. Reclaim your kingdom, and your queen will return.